And yes, we are live. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is an amazing, amazing day. It is Tuesday Live. We're going to be doing 10 most important decisions you must make as a parent. My name is Wendy Logan. I'm the founder of the Intentional Parents Academy. I am called Africa's #1 parent coach. And yes, you are here. One of the things you're going to be learning today is how you would actually make these decisions, why you need to make them, and who you are as a parent. I am very excited about today. Have you invited someone? Have you sent this to someone somewhere? So that there's a Tuesday Live that is free that parents can access without having to pay that. You just need to just pay attention to listening. But I can tell you that today's session is going to leave you with a lot of things to go to actually implement. So let's go. I hope you have your pen and your paper. Before we go, remember that the Inner Circle program has been on registration for the past few months. One of the things that have happened in the past few months is that we have actually onboarded people from cohort 1A to 1L as at this morning. And I can tell you that by tomorrow, we're probably going to be on cohort 1M and N. And remember that the Inner Circle slots are not endless, right? There is something somewhere for you. Don't wait until all the slots are gone. Please give me a moment. I can see that my screen is not as sharp as it should be. I do not know why. Let me just change my network and then walk through. Alrighty, so thank you so much for your patience. I would like you to confirm if my screen is better. I am not so sure that it is, but I want you to confirm if I have a better screen. I think it is actually better. Looking at it from my screen, it was actually way off. I think we're having a bit of a network challenge, since the day. I do not know why, but this is a lot better than it was. All right. Yes, this is a lot better. Thank you. Somebody say sharp. Correct. Let's go there. Hello, Mom. My mom is here. So we're talking about the 10 most important decisions you must make as a parent. And yes, Yada, shout out to you guys. I see you guys. Thank you so much for pointing me to that my screen was actually having a challenge. I am very, very grateful. So today, I will point you to 10 most important decisions you must make as a parent. Are you ready for that? Have you invited someone, like I said, to this conversation today? Number one, what foundations of values will you build on? So one of the things that happen to parents when they get into the Inner Circle is that we teach you how to curate your family values. Now, we have even re-engineered it. Now, you're going to learn how to create your family governing system, not just value. The whole governing system. That's where you're going to decide. Every home runs in a value system. That's the truth. Whether the one that you create or the one that the culture creates for you. So whether you like it or not, there is a value system that is actually controlling your home at the moment. The problem is that you haven't paid attention to these value systems, so you do not really understand or you do not know what these value systems are. But intentional parents understand that value systems are curated intentionally. Unintentional parents think that parenting can be done by anyhow. In the yard, there's something we say. There is no anyhowness here. What values will define them? What is that thing that you're going to be doing with your children? Who will they become eventually? Many times, we actually do not ask these questions. You just have a child, and that is it. Your values become your child's compass. The family value will become the child. If you don't define them, the world will define them. You need to ask yourself, what do I want my child to stand for when I'm not there to guide them? Now, whether you realize it or not, your home is already running on values. Some homes are running on aggression. Yesterday, I was talking to a parent, and she said, You know that in our home, we're not that united. Everybody does what they want. It's a value system. If you always pray, it's a value system. If you are making excuses, you are teaching irresponsibility. It's a value system. If you're bailing out your child, you're teaching irresponsibility. It's a value system. Are these values intentional or are they accidental? Most of us are parenting with very accidental values. Let me ask you, do you have a curated value system in your home? I don't want you others to answer me. If you're none, you're the answer. A curated value system in your home that is visible. And I'm not talking about the one you have in your head or the one you say, don't you know the family of who we are. Curated, written, somewhere that everybody can access. The Bible says, make the vision plain, right? So that he who sees it may run. Write it down, make it plain, so that he who sees it may run. Is your vision seen in your home? Is your vision seen in your home? Thank you so much, Iloka Peace, for the sincerity. She said, no, ma. And these are some of the things that you learn in an academy. Because most times, yes, you might know it. You might know that family value is something that you need to actually, curate. But the problem is that apart from knowing the family value, right, do you understand how to actually build it to become central in the life of your child? That's the conversation of the day. So your value system is actually that compass. Is that compass. So it is important that you begin to get it. If you enter our home, you walk through the steps. By the time you're getting to the final steps, to the final place that takes you into the common space that is private home, you will see a whole full, out display. Now, it doesn't stop there, which is very important. It doesn't stop there. It actually is about how they make meaning in your life. So beyond having the value system the truth of the matter is that there are options. So as parents, you must choose what will define your family value system. The options are culture, faith, media, and intentional principles. What we teach in the inner circle is intentional principles. So values are like a compass of a ship. They determine direction, not speed. A child may be gifted, brilliant, talented, but without the right values, they become dangerous with their gifts. Let me say that again. A child may be gifted, brilliant, talented, but without the right values, they become dangerous with their gift. That's why prisons are filled with intelligent people who lack the foundation of integrity, respect, and responsibility. There's a survey that was done in the prisons recently that a high number of people who go to prison are highly intelligent. So the fact that your child is intelligent does not necessarily mean that your child is actually going to end up becoming. So the fact that you're raising a child who actually is first in school, who is this, who goes there, who did, and all of the things that we say, believe you me, if you don't understand how to create these systems, you will raise a child whose gift becomes dangerous to them. That's an important aspect of your life. So what foundation of values will you give them? So intentional principles is about being rooted in faith. Being rooted in faith. Values it's not about lectures. It's about living examples. If you want to be honest, to stop lying in front of a phone, in front of your children. What do I want my child to stand for when I'm not there? Let's go. In the Bible, it was Joshua who stood before Israel and declared, as for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. He wasn't waiting for his children to figure it out. He made a choice for his children and for his descendants. The question I'm leaving with you today is, what choice are you making? What choice are you making? Number 2, how will you discipline? That's number 2. How will you discipline? That's another conversation you must, decision you must make. Discipline is inevitable. Every child will push boundaries. It's part of growth. The real question is not if you will discipline, it's how. If you don't decide early, you will default to moods. Every child will push boundaries. It's part of growth. So discipline is inevitable. Help me write in the comment section. The real question is not if you will discipline. The real question is how will you discipline? If you don't decide early, you will default to moods. Shouting when you're angry, ignoring when you're tired, bribing when you're desperate. Now, punishment and discipline is not the same. That's where we miss it. I usually say that discipline imparts the thinking brain. Punishment imparts the emotional brain. Most times, when you punish, it's emotion. When you really listen to yourself, when you are upset, you lose your temper, it's an emotion. It's an emotion. There's really nothing put in place, and then it frustrates you. Frustrates you at the end of the day. I was writing, my book, The Calm Parenting Framework, which is one of the 6 in one book that we're actually launching for pre-order on the 6th, all right, of October 2025. I don't want to miss it, all right? You get to pay 39,500 instead of paying 60,000 naira. That's a steal. That's a steal for each of the books. While writing that book, I realized the point is that many times we are reacting to misbehavior. We are not training towards a better behavior. And it's a problem. We're not training towards a better behavior. So discipline is not punishment. I say again, discipline is not punishment. Discipline is training. How are you training your child? That's what the real discipline is. But most times you find that our children do not just get it because we also do not get it. So we think that when we beat, we yell, we hit, we are actually disciplining our children. No, we're not. We're not. Now, let me, describe discipline and punishment in another way too for you. Punishment focuses on pain for wrong behavior. Discipline focuses on training for right behavior. Punishment says you are bad. Discipline says the choice was wrong. Here is how we can do it better. Children disciplined with love will grow secure. Children punished in anger will grow rebellious and they will become fearful. Of course, there are different kinds of discipline that you should never be found. Harsh discipline, permissive discipline, reactive discipline, and then there's intentional discipline. If you want to learn more about discipline, I have a book called Discipline is Not an Emergency and the Discipline That Works. Discipline is not an emergency and the discipline that works. All my books are available on Amazon. You can get your copies on Amazon. And you can also send us a chat at Books by Wendy Ologe on Instagram and you get any of my books. Or you can reach out to us and reach out to any distributor around you. We have distributors all across the nations of the earth, including Nigeria, in all the states. We have distributors in Netherlands, in Australia, in the US, in Calgary, in Scotland, name it. We have distributors everywhere. And in the US, all right? So you can actually get your books anywhere. Eli was a priest. Eli allowed his sons to misbehave unchecked. Now, the Bible said, in 1 Samuel 3:13, he said he did not restrain them. He did not restrain. So there's a restraint that is required. Their reaction led to judgment on his entire household. Their own reaction. So the Lord disciplines the one he loves. True discipline is not anger. It is training. It is training. I don't think you've ever seen God flogging anybody, right? So it's training. So you must be clear, consistent, calm, corrective. Your child lies. Punishment says you are a liar. Go and kneel down. Who is guilty? I was writing this in my book, right? My upcoming book, The Calm Parenting Network. Framework. Your child lies. You say discipline is you are a liar. Go there and kneel down. That's punishment. That's punishment. Discipline says lying breaks trust. In this home, we tell the truth. Let's talk about why you lied and how you will correct it. You, one destroys, the other develops. Discipline and punishment. One destroys, the other develops. Punishment destroys, discipline develops. You need to make a choice. You need to make a choice. Which one are you going to be on? Right? The Calm Parenting Framework is one of the sweetest book that you're going to read. Yeah, the Calm Parenting Framework. Whether you're yelling, you need to first of all be calm before you can even use the discipline. That's the truth. Because you find out that when you are shouting, you can't teach anything in that moment. Oh, the moment you raise your voice, you can't teach. It happens to me. The moment you raise your voice, you cannot, there's no how you will teach anything. You're upset, everywhere is on fire, everywhere. But if you put yourself together, you will find out that you will discipline, create boundaries, and you will stay on it. Do you know that one of the most destructive things you can do to your children is inconsistent parenting? Many of us are inconsistent, which is the real problem. Many of us are inconsistent. So today, we say, oh, this is how you're going to do it. Tomorrow, we say, no, you keep quiet. So your child can actually do anything that they want. So if you create a system, stay on it. But these things are learned. They are not assumed. They are not assumed. So you need to ask yourself, am I learning or am I assuming? All right. Now, like I said earlier, discipline is something that you need to learn. Many of the times, we are not learning it. That's why we are actually struggling. So what we know as discipline is actually not discipline. If you yell at somebody and say you have disciplined the person, then you have failed. I never consider yelling at someone, shouting at someone as discipline. No, that's not discipline. So if you say, why did you do this? And you say you've disciplined the person, that's an error. You've just reacted with your emotion. That's what it is. Your emotion is the one that is leading you. But if you are able to think of how you can impact the thinking brain instead of the emotional brain, then you have really, truly disciplined. And it takes a lot of discipline to be consistent. That's why unpredictability is inconsistent parenting. And most parents who are unpredictable are parents who are irresponsible with their emotions, one, who have not learned about parenting, cannot understand discipline. They are the ones who are inconsistent. So today you are here, tomorrow you are there. Your children cannot define what you can do. Do you know I've heard parents brag with inconsistent parenting? You even say things like, my children do not know how I'm going to react. They don't know whether it is slippers I'm going to flip on their head now. And boom, you will flip slippers on their head. And tomorrow say, they know me now. They don't know how I'm going to react. They are scared. They don't know what will happen to them by the time I get back. Evil. Like we say in the inner circle, in my son's voice. That's an evil something. God is not unpredictable. Unpredictability is not God. It's evil. The Bible said that the father of light, in whom there is no variableness. God does not have variableness. He's steady. He's consistent. He's predictable. So if you're unpredicted or unpredictable to your children, that's evil parenting. That's not godly parents. So when you brag, the next time you want to brag again about how you will flip slippers today and how you will slap tomorrow, you are just practicing evil parenting, not godly parents. Unpredictability is the enemy of parenting. Don't be unpredictable. It's a dangerous place to be, right? So you must make a decision. You need to decide, how do I discipline my children? It's inevitable, but you need to make a decision. It's part of the most important decisions you need to make in your life as a parent. So if you're listening to me, you've never sat down to decide, how do we discipline our children? You either make a mess of them or you will kill them by your disciplinary method. And then when you ask that question, you begin to ask yourself, have I learned what to do? Let's run, because it is getting hotter. Have you invited someone to this conversation today? If you have not, take this link, copy it, invite someone now, because it is going to do someone a whole lot of good. You might actually be helping to save a soul as we speak. So I want you to go now, send someone to it. The next one is, what education path will you prioritize? You know, when it comes to education, parents don't get it. Anytime I've asked this question, a lot of parents say to me, oh, what education path? Oh, it means good school, this. So I wrote in my book, certificate faith, capacity lasts for a lifetime. Help me put that in the comment section. Certificate faith, capacity lasts for a lifetime. True education is about building capacity. It's about shaping thinking. It's not about going to school. Your children can go to school and be uneducated. So you need to ask yourself, what educational path are we going to prioritize? And it's a big deal. What educational path are we going to prioritize as a family? Have you ever asked that question? Do you even know what it is that you should be looking at? All right? I'm going to leave you to actually begin to think about it. Okay? But let me share a few things with you. Many parents confuse the two, schooling and education. So one of the books that is coming up is Raising the Social Genius. You will love to read that book. In and Out. Raising a Social Genius. Parenting your children to thrive, where certificates can't speak. Certificate fails, capacity lasts for a lifetime. Schooling is passing exams, memorizing facts, testing certificates. That's schooling. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a fraction of education itself. Education is expanding the mind, building capacity, and nurturing problem solving. They are two different things. Sorry, give me a minute again. I think I've my network has switched again. Okay, I think I'm back. I want to be sure that I have a clear network. I don't want to teach this without being as clear. Yes, I think I'm back. And it's going to get better. Thank you very much. Now, I was talking about certificates. Schooling is equal to passing exams, memorizing facts, chasing certificates. Education is expanding the mind, building capacity, and nurturing problem solvers. You know, so one of the books I'm writing, one of the 6-in-1, is how to raise lifelong learners. I have found that most of us went to school, but we don't have capacity. Somebody said I should repeat the definition of education again. I'm going to take it again. Schooling is only part of education. Schooling is passing exams, memorizing facts, chasing certificates, which there is nothing wrong with. No, school is not scam. It's part of your process. Now, beyond that, education is expanding the mind, building capacity, and nurturing problem solvers. You can have degree and still lack wisdom. You can have degrees and still be foolish. On the other hand, a child with true education is a critical thinker, is a creative person, is responsible, and can change their world. That's actually exactly why I'm writing the book, Raising Lifelong Learners. Because I've come to realize that many of us went to school, came out tops of the class, came out with top degrees. Do we have anybody who made the first class in this space? Please, if you did, just say yes in the comment, right? We have a few of that. But you find out that even if you made a first class, when you get into the real world, the first class doesn't really make you. It is now the capacity you build as per being a first class student. So I've had the privilege of, I can see a lot of yeses in the comment section. Come on now. That's awesome. I've had the privilege of hiring people over the past decade. And one thing I have picked, I've hired people who have made first class, those who have made 2-1s, those who have made third class. And I've found that the best players are not the guys at the top with the first class. They are very good with routine. Give them something that is routine based and they will be able to produce it without mistakes. But they can't really create, which is a gap. Does it mean that they are not smart enough to create? No. It just means that they were not raised to cultivate an unshakable love for learning and be able to create through it. This is very important. So every parent must decide, will I raise a child who only collects certificates or the one who creates solutions? Will I measure my child's worth by grades alone or by the skills and the character that they build? Education is not about producing employees only. It's about preparing contributors to the society. That's what education is. So your first class child can make first class and not be made because first class don't make you. It doesn't create influence for you. No matter how top of the class you came out, believe you me, you will not be able to make a lot out of it if you don't build capacity. Now, your decision, every decision as a parent, will I raise a child who only collects certificates or who creates solutions? You know, when you look at the story of Daniel in the Bible said that they were schooled in Babylon. As at that time, Babylon was the best. It's like going to Harvard. So Daniel was like a Harvard graduate. They were schooled in Babylon, but their true education was their wisdom, their discernment, their courage to stand for what is right. That's what separated them from their peers. If you read Acts 7:22, he said he was educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. That's Moses. Yet, what made him a deliverer was not the certificate, but the capacity to lead, to judge, and to obey God. You know, when you look at Thomas Edison's story, I was doing an insight on it recently, right? And he was expelled from school because his teacher thought he was slow. That's the same Thomas Edison. The mother redefined his education. The mother said, no, that's not what it is that my child should be doing. Do you know what the mother did? She started to teach the son curiosity and resilience. That word grew into one of the greatest history of invention that we have today. That guy created the light bulb. The other day, I was in the room and, switched off the light. I was taking my bath, and then my husband mistakenly switched off the light, and he didn't know I was in the bathroom. And I was like, put on the light. And then he put on the light. I was like, God bless the soul that actually created this light bulb. So you need to begin to imagine. So that your son, I wrote the book, Raising the Lifelong Learner. So that those of you who have children who have, issues learning in the formal setting can help your child. The child was expelled from school because he was slow. Imagine that. Because he was slow. But that child has now become someone who actually now takes in and creates something that will change the world. Who made it so? The parent. You are the one that will decide what kind of education your child will have. It's not the school. The school can say whatever it is that they want. I tell you a very real life story. I had a boy who was in my class in primary school. They used to call him an Olodo. He would be last in class. He would be second to the last. He was like, teachers will call him out. You did not learn this. Why didn't you do this one? Why didn't you do that one? And all of that. For those who are asking how they can join the the book, this thing, you will see the details right in the comment section, or you can send a chat to the number on our screen so that you can join that book pre-order group now, so I don't miss on that offer on the 6th. Now, one of the things that happened to this particular boy was that, so, we grew up just knowing him as that Olodo, that boy that doesn't know anything in class. People will laugh, teachers will make students laugh at him. I met him several years later. He was a professor. We started to talk. Yeah, he actually lectures in one of the biggest universities in Edinburgh currently. And then we started to talk. He was like, that for you guys, you people were the stars in the class. You've always been that star. Everybody just celebrates you and all of that. But we had to actually understand learning and struggle. And he said something to me. He said, God bless my parents. They never believed I was an Olodo, even when everybody in class and teachers thought so. Wow. He said every time when he comes home, the parents will say to him, that's not who you are. It's just that you learn differently. And truly, these are parents who understood. That's why I say, you are the product of who raised you, how you were raised, where you were raised, what the person who raised you know. That is why I say that you are the product of who raised you, how you were raised, where you were raised, what the person who raised you know. What you know will either kill your child or make your child. Look at that young man. That young man would have ended up, in quotes, being a nobody struggling just because the teachers didn't understand what raising a child is about. I was reading the story of Malcolm X. If any of you knows who Malcolm X is, he had little formal education. He educated himself in prison by reading voraciously. He didn't have certificate. He made him one of the most powerful leaders and voice in the world. Till today, if you read history and mix the history of Malcolm X, you've lost a lot. Look at men like Cosmos Maduka, who actually dropped out of school at grade 3. He said in one forum where he was teaching, he said, if it's by education, schooling, not a proper education, I won't be able to speak English, communicate with you. That's number one, because all of you actually speak better English than I do. And by that standard, I should be a nobody. But he said, in this room, I'm most likely wealthier than everybody in this room, which was the truth. He's one of the biggest billionaires in Nigeria today. He said, every day you buy a product of mine that you use. Every single family in this nation. That's thinking. That's thinking. Most of us were not raised to think. All right? Now, a child comes home with average grades in math, but he loves to fix gadgets. And you are constantly scolding the child who loves to fix gadgets, but because they are not passing math, you begin to beat them. Instead of scolding, why not nurture their curiosity with the books and the kids and the mentors? The child will grow up to become a problem solver because you prioritize education over marks. Am I raising a certificate holder or am I raising a solution provider? In my upcoming book, Raising a Lifelong Learner, I said, what is more important to you? A child who can create or a child who can just hold certificates? I want a child who can create. I don't know about you. I don't know about you. And that is very important, right? By the way, if you've not joined that 6-in-1 flash sale, I urge you, look at the link in the comment, click on it, stay there so that you don't miss of all of the offers that we're going to be giving you then. Number 4, what exposure will you permit? The reason that you do not understand what to permit and what not to permit is because you've never thought of it. What exposure will you permit? Friends, media, social environment. What enters your child's heart? Your child will become what they consume. The friends they keep, the movies they watch, the games they play, all of them shape their identity. The problem is that you don't know that they shape their identity. So you actually think That, oh, it's nothing. Oh, my child is just watching Ben 10. It's Ben 10. Everybody watches it. So, my child can just watch Ben 10. It doesn't really matter. It's not what everybody is watching. It's bigger than that. Children are highly impressionable. What they see, hear, engage with becomes their definition of normal. A child is exposed to violence by learning aggression. A child that is exposed to kindness will learn empathy. A child that is exposed to pornography will learn distorted intimacy. A child that is exposed to excellence will learn discipline. Exposure is silent training. It shapes identity even without your permission. You can't control everything, I agree. But you must curate and balance what enters your child's mind. I know a lot of people say, coach, this one is difficult. You can't really, you're not there every time. Yes, I agree with you. You cannot control everything. It's impossible to control everything. But believe you me, you can curate what enters your child's mind. And it's your job. It's because you have never really sat down to ask yourself that question. What is it that my child is watching? Am I intentional about what my child is watching? Am I intentional about what exposure that I'm permitting? There are some exposures that my children don't have as we speak. There are some exposures that my children don't have as we speak. There are some things that they don't watch. So I was talking to someone recently and I said, I just realized that, the person was like, that the children, all this, Nigerian movie thing, that the children watches it. And, one of the things I realized about Nigerian movies is that they are highly, the sexual exposure in most Nigerian movies are very high. Their age curation is not appropriate. That's one of the things that I have realized. So from day one, we curate our history system and our knowledge of Nigeria through other means, not the Nigerian movies, not Nollywood. That exposure that you're permitting, what does it say? You can't control everything. You cannot even control the friends that your children make, but you can curate the environment where they pick their friends. Oh yes, I've done it, it's doable. I've thought it is doable. Friends, who they work with, who are they working with? It will shape who they become, whether you like it or not. Media, music. Some of you go to your houses. There are different kind of music. It's music video. I've never played a music video in my home. It's my choice. It's my home. Music video that is not the kind of music video we listen to. Sometimes I'm watching those, I'm somewhere and they're playing those things and I'm wondering, and parents actually tune on their, is it MTV? And then you actually put on MTV and then you're watching Curated in your home. Except that is part of your values. Okay. What kind of music? You watch Big Brother Niger and you say to yourself, it doesn't matter. It's just a show. Tomorrow you are looking for how your children are there to watch porn. Oh, shit. Your environment. How do your children actually spend time? Do you know, in church, in school, online spaces, they influence their worldview more than the lectures. I tell you something. Over the weekend, we were in Uyo. Shout out to all of you in Uyo. Shout out to Uyo Yadas. So it was Pastor Kelechi Chibuzo who came to share his testimony all the way from Calabar. Shout out to you, Pastor. He's been in the inner circle for 3 years. And he said to me, I've been on the sideline before that 3 years, right? I've been on the sideline. I've been, taking in several things, just like in Tuesday life, like you are taking. She said every day, it looks as if I know what it is that I'm doing. Tuesday life, I know I can listen, I can curate it. He said, until one day, I didn't understand that there was more to the conversation. I was coming out of the this, and I saw that my son has started to watch porn. He's a pastor full time of one of the big churches in Nigeria. And he shared this publicly. And he said, I started to dig deep to understand how my children got to the point where they are watching, like how it's not in my house. They found that in church, one of the brothers will actually open their phone, show the children porn, and they started to get curious from there. Exposure. What kind of exposure will you allow? See, there are 3 dangers of There are dangers of extreme that you must be careful of when it comes to parenting. Extreme sheltering and overexposure. And I see a lot of parents on the extreme of overexposure. I see parents on these two extremes all the time. Extreme sheltering and overexposure. Extreme sheltering is denying every form of exposure. And that makes your child naive, ill-equipped for the real world. Then there is extreme exposing. You allow anything to go. You leave your children vulnerable to harmful influences. You allow them to enter anywhere because according to you, that's the world they live in. A wise parent, scratch that. An intentional parent curates the exposure of their child. They filter without suffocating. They guide without controlling. Did you hear that? An intentional parent is the one that actually curates the exposure of their children. They don't leave anything to chance. They filter without suffocating and they guide without controlling. You must be that person. See, the family of Lot in Genesis 13 and 19, Lot exposed his family to Sodom. He destroyed all of them, including Lot. Wrong exposure cost him his legacy. In parenting lessons in the Bible, which is one of the upcoming books, right? I shared about Lot's story. It wasn't about Lot. The parenting wasn't just about Lot. It was also about Mrs. Lot, Edith, as she was called, never mentioned. Theologians said her name was Edith. I found out when I was creating the 90 Days Masterpiece Devotional. Shout out to you guys, Masterpiece Women. And I was reading that story and I saw where Lot and the wife got it wrong. It's there in the Bible. But I'm not going to tell you, you're not a yarder. When you get into the yard, you will learn how and why. Exposure is important. Do you know that it was through the exposure of Pharaoh's place, right? Pharaoh's palace, that the mother of Moses planted, there was something that he planted in him that actually was enough to resist Egyptian culture. Early exposure matters. There was a woman called Helen Keller. She was blind and deaf. Her teacher was Anne Sterling. That woman carefully curated her exposure. Books, learning, positive relationship. It transformed her into a world influencer. I'm going to read about her. Helen Keller. There was Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell is the one that talks about the 10,000 hour rules. I love his books, right? Inner circle parents know what I'm talking about. He said children exposed consistently to practice in safe environment will often outperform those with mere talent. And he's of the opinion that 10,000 hour rule is what wins. Anything you are able to complete 10,000 hours on, you win. Whether you're talented or not. It's not talent. People ask me, somebody was asking me, how did your son learn how to play the organ? I said, it's practice. He wasn't talented. He's not talent. It's practice. How did your son learn how to manage time in the way that he manages time? It was practice. He wasn't talented. In fact, my son struggled with time management naturally, being a kinesthetic learner. How did your daughter learn how to love to cook? My two children do chores well. They enjoy to do chores. They don't have a problem with chores. Why? Exposure. Programming. Our son said he had an injury and then he was watching, my brother do some things in the house. And he was like, Mommy, I was feeling so bad. Adults were actually doing things and I should be one doing it and they are sitting down. It's exposure. It's curating a system. What kind of exposure do you want to expose your child to? So did that. I don't know how my child met this person. There's something wrong. If your child is in a bad clique, you are the cause. It's not the child's fault. You didn't curate the child's exposure. And you should take responsibility for it. If your child is impressionable, influenced, highly, peer pressure and all of that, there is a system that you can build in. But you need to get into the inner circle because that's where you will learn a lot of these things that I'm teaching you. Time is almost going and we're still here. So let's quickly run. I need you to learn that you need to curate media. One of the things that you learn when you get into the inner circle is how to curate your media. So we have even upgraded our media plan to media blueprint. It's now, we don't block. You actually teach discernment. Then you begin to teach your children how to self-regulate. You don't just say, oh, your children make friends anywhere. Oh, because so I have a book upcoming called Raising the Socially Skilled, the Social Genius. Now, the social genius is a child who understands their social system. However, there is a caveat to it. It is learned. Have you not seen people who are everywhere in the name of being social and they are distracted? It's learned, it's curated. So you must curate their friendship systems. You need to guide their friendships. You need to build identity early. Early. You need to offer positive alternatives. If you remove and not replace, you will create a vacuum. And when you do, there's nothing you can do. That thing will grow from there. Remember the story of the man who was cast, whose spirit was cast out of in the Bible. Who remembers that story? Right? Let's see if we have Bible scholars in this class. That man, when the evil spirit left him, the Bible said that they came to check what has happened to him. They now saw that the place was clean, swept. Nothing that he brought 70 other legions. 70. Why? It was removed and there was no replacement. So when parents tell me, how you say our children should not watch TV, we have blocked all our TV, we have removed it. There's no replacement. That's why it's not working. It can't work. You need to be in a system that curates replace. That's what we do in the inner circle. You can hear this remove, and there's no replacement, there's no accountability. It will not work. I bet you. It will not. So you want your children on social media, then you want to be able to guide them. How would they get on social media? You need to create that system. And part of that media, family media blueprint, is currently on our Stellar page, right? It's part of what we're going to be using for the upcoming, inner circle program. Is that everything all encompassing? So you don't do outright. No, I don't want you to watch this. I don't want to. No. You must have what you call guided exposure. Teach them about setting limits. Teach them about modeling. I was having a conversation with a friend, and I said, even when you have a girl with sense, means that even when you have male friends, you must know how to curate it so that it doesn't come out in another way. And you also don't put yourself in danger. It is learned. It's not assumed. What is shaping my child worldview now? Is it me? Is it others? Is it the world? You need to understand that. Exposure is the soil in which identity grows. Help me put that in the comment section. Exposure is the soil in which identity grows. If you plant weeds, you can't expect roses. I say that parenting is seed time and harvest. It is what you plant, you receive. If you plant discipline, if you plant truth, if you plant positive influences, you will reap a harvest of secure, well-grounded children. That's why when parents say to me, so what if you finish this intentional parenting and it doesn't work? It's the life from the pit of hell. It is what you sow, you will reap. You can't sow anything else and reap anything else. It is what you sow, you will reap. If you read the scriptures, you will see that that's why the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he grows up, he won't depart. If he departs, it means you didn't show him the way he should go. If he departs, if that child departs, you were wrong. You don't have the blueprint. That's the truth. You don't have the blueprint. What blueprint do you have? And they lied to you when they told you that parenting have no manual. There is a manual. Life, every child comes with a manual. It is an error to think that the creator of a thing will create it without a how. It's impossible. Not even God, the sovereign Father. Not even God. All right? So what you plant is what it is that you will reap. All right? Number 5. How will you model relationships? How will you model relationships? That's number 10. Number 10. Where are we? Number 5. Am I correct? Yes. Number 5. How will you model relationships? I'm going to run quick. Children learn love, conflict, respect from how you treat your spouse. So if you don't make your decision on how you will model relationships, it will fail. It will fail. How are you going to model it? Will your children just see your relationship just like that? We just came back from the couples conclave retreat. And one of the things that I was teaching while I was teaching, parents, if you're a conclave, shout out to you, Ochebuka, I see you. All right. And one of the things I said is that children are not just listening to you, they're watching you. The way you treat your spouse, the way you treat your siblings, the way you treat your friends, the way you even treat strangers. That's your child's first classroom or relationship. If you gossip about your friends, you are teaching them disloyalty. If you allow them to rebel against authority, you are teaching them how to dishonor you. That's the truth. Your relationship is a mirror. Will I model toxic conflict or healthy resolution? So when we say go and work on your marriage, I know what I'm saying. Go and work on the friends that you have. I know what I'm saying. That's the truth. It's very important that you begin to think from that place. You don't need to hide disagreements from your children. No. You need to show them how to handle it with respect. Let them see conflict resolved, not avoided, not exploded. Let the children see you hug. Let them see you forgive. Let them see you speak well of others. Let them see you keep to your word. Let them see you show loyalty. How do you treat your staff, your drivers, your waiters? They need teachers. How do you treat the people around you? If you and your spouse disagree, stop shouting or creating silent treatment. And why not show your children healthy dialect? I see your point, but I feel differently about it. We can find a way. When we start doing, I see your point, my children are constantly laughing because it cracks them up. Then they're like, we're going to wait and see how this is going to end. And I'm sure that very soon now, mommy will say, I think you maybe later we need to continue this conversation. It cracks them up. Why are you screaming and shouting on your spouse? You don't teach relationships. You teach them with your life. The relationship manual your child carries into childhood is written daily by you. How you treat your parents, how you treat people around you, how you treat your house workers, even that house help. The one that you have made to be the one who does everything, while your son is the Prince Charming. Oh, your son does nothing. Oh, he wakes up and he's the one. They actually pick up after him. You call Nkechi to come and ensure that he has been tucked into bed. And then Nkechi is awake, doing everything. And then your son is awake. Your son is going to interpret it. That's interpretation for him. Most of us treat our house helps terribly. And you think that, your children can see the distance. Look, see a woman and her children and the house help. Even when they go to the same school, you can instantly be able to say this is the house help. You can say that this is the house help. You can point it out, go to church, stand on one corner, and just look as families are coming out. You can say this is the house help. This is the person. This is the. You can point it out. And if that is the case, there's a problem. And no, it's not about she eats the same thing I eat. That's what people say. It's in that house. She won't eat better than me. She goes to the same school my children go to. It's bigger than that. If you want to really tell yourself the truth. Oh, yes, it's bigger than that. Talking about raising boys, you need this book. Raising the boy, you don't need to bail out. Stop bailing out your sons. Oh, he's an only son. In the words of Koche Buka, he's an only son. All right, shout out to you, Auntie Tima. It was an awesome time with you guys at the conclave over the weekend. It's interesting. Everybody who went for the conclave retreat, every single person are booked to be at the conclave retreat next year. Every single person. I don't even know how people that are asking me how to join and go for retreat went. Interesting conversation, really. I leave marriage to people with their conversation, please. All right. But join the couples conclave. It's going to change the moments of your life. Shout out to you, Lydia. It was so awesome spending some time with you. Ask yourself, what picture of relationship is my child carrying into adulthood? I'm going to run through the others. I will teach them in the inner circle. I will use voice notes and finish up these conversations. All right. I will just run it through you so that you will be able to get it because I have only 5 minutes to go. You see, you can't teach everything in 5 minutes. That's why the inner circle is a must. That's why the inner circle is a must. It is not, you know, it's not optional. Don't make it an optional thing. Don't make it an optional thing. Okay? Right. So the next one you want to check is the role of faith. What kind of faith? Your children need moral anchor. If you don't ground them spiritually, they will build convictions from social media and trends. Some of our children don't believe in God. You don't even know. I'm privileged to, maybe listen to Coach Ebuka, Coach David, and Tietima, who work with, boys, girls, and I hear some of the things that your children say about, why, you see the reason, and you're wondering, this person's parent, it's a child of God. How come the child doesn't get it? All right. Dr. Happiness said, I see no reason why a child would be a house help. Why bringing a child to do what a child cannot do? What your child cannot do. I don't want to start the conversation of child help. In disguise, people say, oh, I just brought the child so that my child will be able to play with the child. Error. In all it. Okay. Let me leave it. It's not today. We'll find a day to talk about that child help thing. All right. But no, that is wrong. Both according to the law and everything in it. Lawyers are in the house. Let's go. Ask yourself, when life shakes, what will keep my child steady? Number 7, how would they handle money matters? I refer you to the money coach, right? The money coach, Coach Kwemeka Denara Academy, would actually help you with all of that. The money habits form early. If you don't teach your children, one of the reasons most of us, right? One of the reasons most of us struggle with money is that we didn't grow up with the right money mindset. That's why you are still in the place where you are arguing, my money, your money, my husband cannot know how much I have. If he knows, both of you have issues with money. And that's actually the problem. Both of you have issues with money. So if you are in the place where you are shouting, my money, his money, their money, my money, money is your God, not a tool. And you must learn to make money a tool, not a God. There is a how, there is a way. Let's move. Number 8, how much time will you invest? Is a decision you must make. If you don't make it, you will not invest the time. Every parent decides between presence and absence. It's a decision. Will you give your children leftover of your time or your prime? Have you heard me talk about the crumbs theory? The woman who came to Jesus, and Jesus said to her, I can't give you bread. You are not a child in the house. I'll give you crumbs, the leftover. Yes, even though crumbs heal, which it did happen to heal, but it's still leftover. Most of us give our children the crumbs of our time. That's why when you go to work, you come back, you are angry. I'm tired. Leave me alone. That's the crumbs of your time. Meanwhile, at work, you have given your best. You are at your best from morning until 5. So this morning, my husband and I needed to be at the hospital with our son. All right. And we were in that space, and both of us were looking at ourselves. And we said, what a parenting journey it is. I have a lot to do. But I need to decide between presence and absence. It's a choice. Even this morning, I made a choice. I made a decision. You will be wondering how I've done my intentional parenting money. I didn't have a choice. My choice was present anytime over absence. But it's because we have made these decisions from the beginning. Children spell love as T-I-M-E, time. So if you must decide whether your children will get less over your prime, time invested in listening, praying, mentoring, connecting is what builds security. No school can provide that. It doesn't matter the kind of school they go to. So ask yourself, will my child remember my presence or my absence? Some of us, what we remember is our our parents' absence. Number 9, what legacy of character will you leave? Character outlives achievement. Will you be deliberate about honesty, kindness, resilience, integrity? Success without character is failure in disguise. Success without character is failure in disguise. Decide what traits you will intentionally nurture. Integrity, resilience, compassion, humility. These are the things that outlast money, fame, academic certificate. Ask yourself, if my child had only one character, would they thrive in life? If my child had only one character of mine, my own character, would they thrive in life? If my children follow me the way I am, would they thrive in life? If my children become who I am, will they thrive in life? And finally, who will influence your parenting? Excuse me. Who will influence your parenting? Is a choice. You need to make that choice today. No parent succeeds in isolation. I said that this morning during my intentional parenting journey. There are communities, there are coaches, there are mentors, there are resources you must submit to that will shape your parenting philosophy and your results. No parent knows it all. Who will you listen to? Who are the mentors? Where are the communities? Or are you going to be listening to careless voices? Somebody said this morning at my intentional parenting journey, Sarah Shedrack, said the first time I hit my child, someone, a careless voice, just said to me, you need to beat this child so that their head will reset. A careless voice. And that's what is determining your parenting results. Being in the right circle ensures you learn, stay accountable, and avoid what I call parenting blind spot. Every parent have a blind spot. Coaches are there to see your blind spot. You never get to see blind spots. It's the job of a coach to see a blind spot. That's why there's a coach. That's why footballers have coaches. Their coaches can play good football like they can play, but they see the blind spots they cannot see. No parent knows it all. Ask yourself, who is shaping me so that I can shape my children better? Who is shaping me? Parenting is not automatic. Every decision is your seed and your child is the harvest. Parenting is not one big decision. There are thousands of little decisions, but these 10 are the foundation. So every yes, every no that you give today is building the adults that you want to see. I was talking to a parent about, somebody said, if somebody can teach me, somebody tagged me on a post, somebody can teach me how to make sure that my first son and my first daughter is not always fighting, I am going to pay anything to attend the class. And the person tagged me and said, join dealing with sibling rivalry class. And I said to the person, I said, you think it's impossible because you haven't sent. You're not learning. We're having the dealing with the sibling rivalry course coming up. And dealing with sibling rivalry course is one course that we show you. It's not automatic. You need to make a decision. It's a choice. It's a choice. The details on how to register is on my screen. It's starting on the 6th of October, this same 6th. All right. It's going to start with, a pre-test. Yes. This time around, the dealing with sibling rivalry course is coming differently. So you're going to take a pre-test on that Thursday in the morning, and then the first class comes the next day, and all of that. So that class will show you this. So this parent didn't know. So that's what the parent, all right? That's what the parent is looking at. Parents is just wondering, how do I make it happen? There is knowledge available. If you don't access it, now you do yourself, like they say in Nigerian Palace. So begin to learn. The inner circle is firing down. We are now on cohort. We filled cohort A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. We are now on L. Am I correct? That's 10 classes filled up. No, 12 classes. I don't understand. People can't be lying now, right? You are the only one who is still thinking, this class, I don't understand this inner circle. It's really going to change me. I say it again. The others who listen to this Web Tuesday class have gained 1 million times over the 1% of what you gained. We think that, this thing is, nice. There are a lot of things to take in. You can implement because there is no system that you have. Implementation runs through a system. The reason people go to church and here and here and here, one of the things that our churches lack, right, is a system of implementation. That's why transformation is hard. But if you find yourself, why some people have more testimonies than others, is that some people are able to create, systems, all right? But in the larger group of it, people don't have systems. That's why it does not actually come to play. So it's not the learning that transforms you. It's the curated system that passes through implementation that transforms you. That's what transforms you. All right. So I want to see you. If you're an incoming yarder, let me see you share a fire emoji right in the comment section. You are an incoming yarder. It is your first time of being in the yard. Let me see you share fire emojis. Let me also say that in 24 hours, these slots are going to change. So what this fee is changing from 120K to 150,000 naira. Finally. And it's changing from 200K, all right, to 250,000 naira. And even at that, you are still just paying to pay attention. Because like they say in the yard, the day you enter at the webinar, your money finishes and you are on a free, entrance. And what you will learn, somebody said, how many things will they teach us in that place? Another person answered, you are in for a shocker. You can't catch up with TIP. How do you want to catch up with us? How? You are the one that will get tired of resources. I'm sure at the time you just be thinking, they want to kill me with resources, but and we will give you resources, fresh resources, not the one that you copy from AI and dump. No, curated. Curated. When you go through the inner circle classes, it gives you everything that you can imagine. I see the yarders, incoming yarders, sharing their fire emojis. These are new yarders. Of course, if I say old yarders should share fire emojis, everywhere will turn to fire. Let's try. Old yarders, let's see your fire emojis. All right? All right? So, and somebody say, we they pay and they show. We they pay and they show. I was in New York over the weekend and I was teaching, and one of the director of Brainy High Schools was teaching. They are also inner circle parents. They said at the time, many children were winning awards. They were from particular families. What is happening? They checked. All of the children, their parents are in the inner circle. All. They win awards. They are the ones literally controlling the school. A parent reached out to me from my son's school and said to me, I've watched your son for years. I'm joining inner circle because what you say is not, it's just flying out there. The son just joined, I think last year or 2 years ago. And so I've watched, anytime I've asked my son questions, said, those your children are exemplary. We're not telling you theory. No, we're not. We're actually sharing with you what will change your life. So join the inner circle today. And if you're asking where is our next stop, we're next stopping at Ilorin. TIP Summit Ilorin is on the 11th of October. A yada reached out to me to say, Coach, please, it's not 10th of October, it's 11th. I am so sorry. 11th of October, 23. That's next week Friday, right? And we're going to be in Ilorin, and we're going to bring down the city of Ilorin on TIP Summit this year. And after Ilorin, we are up to UK. All right. TIP Summit UK. All right. I don't know where's the flyer that has other coaches. Coach Ebuka is going to be there, and we're also going to have Tima. All right. These coaches are going to be live at the TIP UK Summit. You do not want to miss it. If you haven't registered, all you need to do is to scan the code, and you will really be able to register. All right. Somebody said, I saw someone share today in cohort 1A and said, I'm a single girl and I'm from Namibia, and I heard about the inner circle and I just jumped in, single girl. Parents are still doubting and checking. Should I join? Should I not join? My child is 1 month. My child is 2 months. Oh, my child is now 18. Single people. How many single people right here? I have Christianophobia. I've never seen Christianophobia miss a class. My young man is single. I've asked him that, please, I have many young girls. Let me bring for him to marry so that I can be mother of the day at his wedding. Brother Christianophobia, show yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget that the inner circle system is here for you to register. We look forward to having you. Don't forget you can get my books on Amazon. You have Raising the Boy You Don't Need to Bail Out, Raising the Independent Thinking Child, Raising the Trophy Child, Raising the Emotionally Skilled Child, Raising the Girl with Sense. We call it the Raising series. Now we're having 2 more join the Raising series from the new book. Amazing. And then we also have the Discipline series, all right, which we call From Yelling to Calm, Connect to Correct, Discipline that Works, Discipline is Not an Emergency. And we have 1 more book joining this series this year. All right. And then we have Resolving Sibling Rivalry. We just finished reading it this month. And as the month is entering to the next month, which is October, what's our book of the month? Raising the Independent Thinking Child. Raising the Independent Thinking Child is our book read for level 1. This book will stop you on your tracks. This book will stop you on your tracks, honestly. All right. So we're solving family problems through effective communication. Awesome read. How to Love Your Child More, Parenting Launch Plan, The Parenting Advantage. I love this book. I love this book. And Your Family Plan for Godly Dating, Courtship, and Marriage. This is one of the books I wrote this year, and it's been really, really amazing. And of course, we have the Sex Conversation book. Somebody sent me a chat. I screenshotted it. I'm going to put it on my DP. She said, please, can you advise parents to buy this book? I think you're too quiet about this book. And the things that I read inside, I can't believe it. If you do not have Walking Your Child Through Puberty, I'm honoring this parent's request. Please go and buy it. And read it and walk your children through puberty. This book comes with a workbook and the main book. This is one of the best books you would actually read when it comes to walking your child through the process. You have Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. This is volume 3. We have volume 4. We have volume 2 and volume 1. Volume 5 is coming. None of the volumes are the same. None. They are just, different volumes, different exposures and all of that. And of course, you have my book that was actually, done this year at my 40th. All right, this is a book about my journey, my message, my methods, and my miracles. Right? So you can get all of my books on Amazon. For those who are asking, our Amazon system is okay, right back, and that is it. Somebody said, I just flipped the pages of this book today, and it was fire. And talking about books, you do not want to miss being at the 6-in-1 flash sale, right? All of us are going to have, some of the books we're going to be reviewing it last year. Our first read for Inner Circle for the first time is changing. So in January, in December, we're doing, the governing systems and the media plan. And in January, we're reading parenting research. So one of the books in this 6-in-1 is one of the things I can't wait to review this book, because what is inside this book is giving me some level of joy, man. As in, like, I read through the book as they returned it recently for us to actually, look at it again. I was like, now, this is the book. This is the book. All right? Thank you again for joining me. Please get books, read books. And for others who are coming in, you will read book. You will read book. You will buy books and you will read book. It is compulsory to read. If you want our hard copies, you can also use the link in the bio and also in the description to get through to where you can get our books anywhere you are. All right. And thank you. Shout out to you, Mr. Sylvester Oga. Our TIP app is ready. So the Inner Circle program is going to run on the app. Today I was still harassing Mr. Sylvester. If you people don't see your app to download, please, we're going to go to his house and fight him. But hey, we're going to have that app downloadable soon so that you can just have it somewhere, just like you have your WhatsApp, and just have access to everything that you see in the yard. Thank you again for joining me. It's 30 minutes past the time that I should have left here, but I've enjoyed speaking here and talking here. So the rest of the explanation of these 5 skills, I will do it via voice note to others. Take note. I'm going to share in bits and all of them for you to actually take in and learn and walk through. Remember, please don't run kitty kitty for Inner Circle registration. We shall not be with you when you run kitty kitty. All right? Also, don't run kitty kitty for a flash sale. Flash sale is only on the 6th of October. Don't call me. Yeah, you're going to have a special arrangement. I know that you guys are big enough. So we have a special arrangement for you. So you don't run kitty kitty on the 6th, but if you're listening to me after the 6th, those 2 hours from 12 to 2, you are not able to grab the books, you will pay 60K for the 6 of them. And trust me, at 60K for the 6 of them, you are still paying a good price and you will still get reward. You will still get this thing from value for whatever it is that you have paid for. All right. But this is also offering you this at 39,500. And one of the things that you will get, all right, is that let me have the details on the screen on how you can join. the book flash sale, one of the things that you get is that you're going to get a free course, the parenting reset. So I do not just want you to reset. I want you to have access, all right, to that free course, all right, and then also implement properly. You're also going to get a workbook, which is an amazing, amazing thing. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget that this 6-in-1 book is only on the 6th of October. Yes, don't forget that Inner Circle program registration, this offer, and today, by tomorrow, you have a different price right on my screen. All right, so that you are not saying, oh, but I saw something like this. We've been advertising it for months, and I think that we have tried enough. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's been an awesome time with you. Have an amazing, amazing day. Yarders, see you right in the yard.
Common phrases in the inner circle. Let's go.
You're coming for an inner circle webinar and you're not with your yellow blanket with red trimmings. Is that even a joke?
Oh, I'm running and I'm not looking back because 10,000 lions are chasing me. I have watched all the webinars, but today, Coach came with a bazooka.
Even with my humility agbada, I still collected.
If you're not in the ark, you better enter now because flood na bia o.
In the inner circle, we dey walk and they show.
CIP police is coming for you. There is no need harness here.
You definitely cannot relate because you are not in the yard.
If you are not in the yard,
why not?